I was asked once about how to apply fades and transition between images. So I wanted to go ahead and show some of the ways that you can do that within Movie Edit Pro. One of the easier methods of doing this would be using the storyboard mode of the program. For this, you would then load in all the media that you're going to use for the project. In this case, I have 4 different images loaded. I'm in storyboard mode, and in between each image you have this AB. You have one at the very start, so this way you can actually create a transition going into the first image. So here what I would like to do is go ahead and fade in from black to the image. So if I click on the AB, I can actually choose fade in, and you can see it quickly faded in from the beginning of the black background to the image. Now going from this image to this image, I can also do a fade. So here I can do, let's say, a crossfade. So I fade from one image to the next. So this is the simplistic type of fade that you can use within the program, but there are more sophisticated fades, and you can also go from an image to a video. And in storyboard, the way you can tell what type of media you have loaded is if you look at the little icons here at the bottom of each slide, it indicates the type of file that you've loaded. The little camera icon means that it's a photograph. A film strip means it's actually a video. So if I was to choose this AB, I can then have it do a different type of effect. So I had one fly off as the other one came in. And if I don't like that one, if I want to choose something different, I can then just click on it again and select a different type of transition. So it's really finding the one that you like, and this is the simple way of using it, going from one image to the next. But you can also use it in different ways. So let's say if I take these away and turn off all the ones that are in between. If I'm in timeline mode shows each image, in this case one after another, on the tracks. And if I want to put a separation between the first image and the second image, then I'm going to drag in a fade or transition. So in this case, what I want to do is I actually want to zoom in to this, to the whole piece here, because there's not enough room to work with at this point. So you can use the zoom features down here, and this will allow you to zoom in and even make the tracks bigger, so that way it's easier to see. And now you can see I have the 2 different images here. If I then go to the fades area and just look through the different transitions that are available, if you're wanting to know what they look like, you can click on these and it shows you an A/B comparison inside the preview monitor. So that way you can get an idea of what these type of transitions are going to do to the image. So here you can just pick one that you like, and then you drag it in between, not to the left or right of the image that you're wanting to select, but in between the two. You drop it in there, and you'll notice that it puts this large fade, crossfade in between, this X. And you have your first image still, which is much smaller than your second image. But in actuality, the time between here and here is shared. So that way you're actually, in this case, fading from black into the image. Then it goes into a transition where the other image is coming in. It plays, and from this point on it plays that second image, which is the same amount of time as the first image. Now you have this second image here. So going from this one to that one, then of course you are going to pick, again, the type of transition that you want. And let's say you want the leaf, then you'll place it there. It puts an X. Now it made this image smaller, so it displays for less amount of time as the next image comes in. So those are things that you'll have to keep in mind as you're using these, but they also give you the ability of doing other things. So if this page turn was too fast for you, you can click on the handle here and you can extend it and make it longer. So that way the page turn is actually now much slower. If it was too slow to begin with, you can make it shorter, and now the page turns much faster. So this way you are editing the fade itself. You can do the same with the beginning one. We can make that little bounce in really, really rapid, or we can extend it out and make it much slower. So that way you can actually change the time or transition length between the images. Now there's another area to do that if you're wanting to be precise with it, and that's here inside the transition length. It actually shows you the amount of time that it's going to take to do the transition. Every time I move the transition, it changes the second within there. So once you've selected that, then that way you have that set. Now there's other ways of doing this as well. If you're just looking for a simple fade from one image to the other, you can do what I do many times, is take this second image and just push it into the first image. The amount of time you want that crossfade to take place. Now it fades from that image and transitions into the next image. It's just simple. It's plain, but it's simple and it's effective. Now at the very end, if you don't go too far when you're showing this, at the very end of this, we can actually do a fade out. And we don't have to be in storyboard mode to do the fade out. We can simply just select the handle here at the end and fade out. And that way it fades to black. So that brings me to another subject which I'll talk about next, which is what is an object.